Greetings, my lovelies. I thought I would make a little video to share some really interesting information with you. And it's how I actually conquered the majority of my anxiety while I was in Thailand. Now, this is a little bit crazy because I'd struggled with anxiety for a long time. And it just kind of like consumed me, kind of like took over my brain, and it kind of made me feel a little bit loopy. I couldn't think clearly. And I have actually learned something that almost completely got rid of it entirely. And I could not actually really believe that this worked, but I learned this in the Buddhist monastery by one of the monks. So you see, there was people asking lots of questions about what they, like, how can I resolve this, or like, how can I resolve that? But ultimately, their response was the same. So what they explain is that suffering is caused by either being in the past or being in the future. And the whole focus of Buddhism is kind of bringing your attention back to the here and now. Now, a lot of people aren't comfortable in the here and now because they're experiencing a lot of really difficult emotions. And they just kind of don't really want to be a part of their reality. So sometimes, they drink, sometimes they, binge TV show watch, just kind of avoid their problems. Now, there's nothing wrong with binge TV show watching as long as you're not avoiding your problems. But yeah, so anyways, a lot of escapism in Western culture. We just try not to like deal with our problems. We try to just kind of like push them away and push them aside, which is fantastic, but it's only a temporary band-aid. And the interesting thing is, when we have an anxious thought about the past or about the future, you can physically feel it in your body. It comes up in your body where you kind of start to panic a little bit. You kind of start to get, some people have full-blown panic attacks. Some people just like get a little bit flustered and they can't think straight. So what the Buddhist principle is learning to detach yourself from the initial emotion to the reaction. So like when you have something that comes up where you're experiencing an emotion and it's an unpleasant emotion and it's a little bit overwhelming and you're physically feeling it, it comes up, it bubbles up, and all of a sudden it's in your brain. So it's now dictating all of the actions that you take from the moment you start experiencing that emotion. So all of your reactions are emotional based. Now this is going to give you a very distorted reaction. It's not going to give you a logical reaction. It's not going to give the result that you want. It's essentially just going to be moment to moment based, which is okay. Like, it's not going to hurt you, but it's not going to help you improve in the long run. And ultimately what you want to do is find like the balance between like the emotion logic balance. So essentially, in the terms of suffering in the past or the future, when you have the feelings of regret or the anxieties for the future, it's literally doing nothing for you. And it was really hard for me to hear this. Like, those thoughts are completely unimportant. And you're just like, but I need to plan for the future. I need to do that. Well, yeah, you can. You can still do that. But putting yourself in this state of anxiety and attaching yourself so much to the outcome or to what's happened is not going to help you at all. And it was really hard for me to hear that. It's not. So when you're starting to feel anxious, shut it down. It's going to do nothing for you. All you can do is bring your attention back to this exact moment. And they also encourage breathing to bring yourself back. So consciously focus on your breathing, in and out, in and out. And you're welcome to, like, your thoughts are going to drift. They're going to drift back to your mind, back to your worries. And then you just kind of gently bring your attention back to your breath over and over and over again. You might go 3 hours without being attentive to your breath. You might go 2 days, you might go 3 days, but slowly that time is going to reduce and you're going to be more conscious. And every, it's like a pattern. So when you're feeling the anxious thoughts, again, bringing your attention back to your breath, consciously taking a few deep breaths, detaching yourself from that emotion through your breath by being present and experiencing all those intense emotions in your body, whether it be negative or positive, heavy or light emotions. Because it's okay, and it's okay to feel melancholy, and it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to feel angry. Honor that in yourself, acknowledge it for what it is, and be like, I'm experiencing anger right now, I'm experiencing sadness right now. You breathe in and out, bring yourself back to the moment, calm yourself down, and then you can make the next decision in the moment. So it's just like, okay, like for instance, if I'm sitting at home by myself and I start to get anxious about the future, and there's like literally, like for instance, like if I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do about money? What am I gonna do about money? And then I'm just like, you know what? Just shut up. And if there's an action that I can take in that moment, for instance, like maybe brainstorming an idea or something like that, but not having like that intense emotion attached through it, by being aware of the emotion and breathing through the emotion. And even if you're still feeling it, that's okay. At least you're aware of what it is. You don't have to attach any more thought or energy to it. You just have to realize this is an emotion I'm feeling. And if your thoughts kind of get away with you, then you just kind of bring yourself back to your breath. And then you're like, this is what I'm focusing on right now. This is what I'm brainstorming. I'm doing a budget or something like that, you know. It's the next step. Or if you're feeling really anxious, you could always go take a walk. Do something that literally brings you out of your head and into your body. And that's the full like principle of meditation and Tai Chi and yoga. Bringing yourself back into your body and allowing your body the space to feel what it needs to feel. If you need to cry, that's okay. If you need to kind of vent out frustrations, that's okay. It's about channeling it. It's about honoring it. It's not about ignoring it. It's about embracing who you are and the kinds of things that you can conquer are unimaginable. And you also, through this, realize, like, it sounds kind of weird, and to a lot of people it might sound kind of selfish, but to not over concern yourself with other people's shiznit. Like the monks emphasize that, like, focus on yourself, like literally, like, and then everything else will fall into place. Like if like they say, you can't love anybody else until you love yourself, and that's true. Otherwise your energy is going to be scattered. It's not going to be in the right place. You're not going to have the right intention behind it, and then you're going to have all of this expectation that you're pushing onto this other person, which can be very overwhelming, and then you get overwhelmed and they get overwhelmed, and it's just a bloody mess. It's just a bloody mess. So focus on yourself. What can you do for yourself in that moment? Not anybody else, just yourself. Once you figure that out, everything else will fall into place. All of the other decisions will fall into place, and you'll be able to kind of work through it. Also experienced this a lot when I, had to make decisions on my own in Thailand. You could take everybody else into consideration, certainly, but ultimately it's about what you want. And if somebody wants to join you on that path, if somebody wants to accompany you, then they're welcome to. But it's kind of a strange balance. So in a nutshell, the principles are bringing yourself back to your breath when you're feeling anxious, making sure that you're doing something to take yourself out of your head and kind of be productive in a way, even though you don't really want to. Like, I know you don't really feel like you want to, but you have to. It's about breaking that pattern, because essentially anxiety is a pattern. Yes, so breaking that through breath, through conscious acknowledgement of what you're feeling without putting too much energy into it, and just kind of being able to find that balance and be kind to yourself as you're watching yourself go through these different ups and downs, because it's going to happen and it's okay. You're not going to get it on the first try. You're not going to get it on the second try. I've been practicing this for years and I feel like it's only just starting to click now. That's okay. You literally have to reprogram your brain. So breath, being mindful about what you're feeling, understanding it, not necessarily attaching a story to it, just being aware and be like, I'm feeling upset, I'm feeling angry, and then finding a way to channel that. Also a recap with making sure that you're focusing on yourself. It's not selfish to focus on yourself, because ultimately you're the only person that you have control of. You're the only person that you can take care of. So making sure that you're taking care of yourself first, you're going to be able to offer a lot more support and help to other people. It's a lot about the self-love, and kind of feeling all comfortable in your body and everything like that, and just kind of understanding what you feel. So when you're put in a stressful situation with another person involved, you can feel confident in what you're feeling because you know yourself so much better. I don't know if this is going to help. A lot of people might just be like, oh, it's not that easy. Well, yes, it actually is. It actually is, because I was the same way. I was just like, yeah, no, it's not that easy. Well, yes, it is. It is. We just don't want to let go. We don't want to change that pattern because it hurts. It doesn't feel comfortable, but the discomfort is necessary. Just because you feel discomfort does not mean that you're doing it wrong. It means that you're doing it right because you're kind of going against what you initially think. If you really want change, it's not going to be comfortable. Just like it is like working out. It's not comfortable, but you're going to get the change. Same with mental discipline. It's the same. And just because you're experiencing emotions, just because you're experiencing intense feelings and thoughts does not mean you're doing anything wrong. You rock, baby, and you're going to just roll through this like a champion. If anybody has any questions for me, feel free to let me know. Or if you want me to elaborate on anything, I'd be happy to. But you know what? There's no need for the suffering anymore. You got this shit.